We have a show for you today. I say, let's hit them with the intro. All right, guys, welcome. Glad you're here. I am pumped. We have got a show for you tonight, man. I went through a ton of charts today. I got good news, I got bad news, and I got plenty of data upcoming. You guys have no idea. We've put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this show tonight. So if you're here with me tonight, congratulations. I am glad to see that you're here. We want to make sure that everything is up and running, everything's looking good. How do I sound? Let me get a check. Let me get a sound check, baby. How do I sound in the chat? The music's not too loud, the voice sounds just right. The coffee is a sipping tonight. Just gonna give it a few more minutes and we're gonna kick things off right, baby. We have your S&P 500. We have the IWM, we have the Dow Jones Industrial, we have the NASDAQ. We're gonna look at the VIX Volatility Index. K-Dog, thank you so much for sharing, I appreciate that. We got a lot going on here. We got the economic calendar, we have inflation, we have to check the sticky inflation. We have, oh my gosh, guys, Wednesday is gonna be crazy. And then, of course, we have your watch list. You better believe it. And then, of course, we'll go over what I am still in. I got knocked out a few of my trades, but we're still holding on to two very, very important ones. Yosef, what's going on? Yosef in the building. Music slightly loud. We'll go ahead and turn that down just a scoosh. There we go. Let me know if you can still hear it. And guys, welcome. Thank you so much for joining David Worrell. We have a beautiful show. It still sounds kind of silly to say welcome. Thanks for joining David Worrell. So you say lo-fi trader, baby. But yeah, no. Glad you guys are here. If you guys aren't already a part of the Discord, you're more than welcome to join. It's absolutely free. Everything we give you is absolutely free. The only reason why I want you to join is because we have an amazing resource. We teach you the trend breakouts, we teach you the base breakouts, we teach you the episodic pivots. And we also have a really good video coming out that your boy Covey actually put together for you. So that way you know exactly how to set up TraderView, exactly how we set it up, so you can find those relatively strong stocks in the market, because he even gives you a whole list for your scanner. But on top of all of that, I went through over 300 stocks throughout the day, okay? Now, I usually go through 300 stocks anyway, but why am I telling you that? Well, because I want you to know that I have scoured the market like I do every weekend for you, every Sunday. Monday always is my best trading day because I always put in so much stinking work on Sunday, and I figured, why, if I'm gonna do this on my own, why not share this? Why not give you the same information? So that's what we're doing today. So now that we have plenty of people here, what's up, Muley? Muley's here. We also have Dan Bob, the greatest moderator alive. Dan Bob, I do appreciate you. You know I love you, brother. It's good to see you guys. And listen, if at any time you have any questions whatsoever, make sure you let me know, because we're gonna run through things quick. I only have about an hour and 15 minutes to get through everything, and we have a lot to go over. It's going to be a huge, huge week. Just before we get started, while I got 19 of you in here, make sure you're smashing this like button. Look at my screen really quick. Smash this like button. It's a beautiful like button. I like to smash it. And if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, because what I'm about to bring to you takes a lot of time. I spend most of my day setting this up for you. So smash that like, hit that subscribe button, because it's absolutely free and you can still support your boy. So thank you guys so much for being here. Let's jump right into it. The S&P 500. I first just want to show you on the hourly. This is the whole reason why we bring up the data, the economic calendar, like we do, like we are going to very soon, because this was the data right here. This is the extreme volatility we try to warn you about, okay? This was your unemployment. This was your, what else was it? There was one other key, the initial jobless claims data, I do believe, came out right here. And look, where did they bounce off of? I didn't just draw this line for you guys now. This was drawn out so you knew exactly where the previous resistance was, the previous all-time highs was. This is why technical analysis works. That's why there is no arguing with the technical analysis. It bounced right off that area because it is support. It was resistance. We kept bouncing our heads off of this resistance, and then we broke through. So when we come back to retest, it is support. That's how I made a lot of my money, guys, knowing where the resistance, knowing where the support is. So first and foremost, do keep in mind this 531 is a very key area for the S&P 500. Now let's go ahead and move this back to the daily so we can see the S&P 500 is above a 10 and 21-day moving average. That's absolutely beautiful. Muley, this is the SPY. This is the S&P 500, only it is an ETF, so it's easier for us to read. It's the SPY, or the S&P 500. It instead of calling it, 5,340, it's just 500 or 534. So thank you for asking that. This is the S&P 500 ETF. Okay. Now we reached a new all-time high on Friday. That was 536.89, okay? At 536.89, it's kind of hard to be bearish when you've reached new all-time highs in the S&P 500. Now, do keep in mind, just like we talked about, that 531 is support. It is support. We are above a rising 10 and 21-day moving average. My benchmark is as long as we're above the 21-day moving average, then I am still risk on. Now, when we're extended a little from that 10-day moving average, I do make sure I am weary and I'm waiting for pullbacks to get into better trades. Now, like I said, I scurried the market. I scurried through over 300 charts, plus the ones I was in, plus the overall ETFs. I've went through everything, and I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is it's in front of you. We're above a rising 21-day moving average. We are still risk on, and things are looking absolutely beautiful. The bad news is there wasn't a lot of setups, and we need to see where this money's going, where the market's headed. So let's look for some more clues, and I think you guys will agree with me. There's something kind of fishy going on here. So the S&P 500 is sitting at 534.01, above a rising 21-day moving average. Now, if we look at the QQQs, this is your tech heavy ETF, okay, where the S&P 500 holds the best 500 stocks, right? And they rotate them, and it gives you the best economic growers that are sustainable, okay? And it's a great benchmark to have, as the QQQs is just tech. It's very weighted in tech. And you can see it's also right up there above all of its moving averages. It reached an all-time new high on Friday as well at 465.74. So the QQQs are right now sitting at 462.96. Now this is the IWM. This is where we are starting to see a little bit of weariness. We have broke down below this trend line, okay? We have broke down below this 50-day moving average, and it is showing a little weakness. Mo Wealth, I see you in here. I see all your tickers that you're throwing in the chat, and you guys are more than welcome to throw your tickers in the chat as well. You're more than welcome to do that. Mo Wealth, I do appreciate you throwing all those in there. We'll take a look at that much later. We'll definitely be going through all of that. But first, let's make sure we understand where we sit at in the overall market. Right now, this is the Stan Weinstein stage analysis. We want to know what the market looks like before we dive deep into what is tradable. Now, if you're looking at small caps or mid caps, you can see they are a little weak. Okay, our highest area of support is right here at 200. Okay, you can see this red line here. That is our highest area of support. That is my line in the sand. If we break below this 200, I am very, very hands off. Okay, that's definitely not something that I want to be a part of when I see this 200-day or the $200 area getting broke. So right now we are breaking this 50-day moving average, which makes me a little concerned already for the S&P or for the IWM, the Russell 2000, the small and mid caps. I'm not looking at small and mid caps and thinking, hey, these are something that I want to be a part of right now. No way, no how. This is in a short-term downtrend, and I would say mid and long term, we've just been trading sideways here. Okay, since December, let's just say since all of this year, we've only been trading sideways. Okay, it's not moving. We want to see the small and mid cap Russell 2000 start to head higher. So the IWM is trading at 201.2 right now, and the highest area of support is going to be the psychological and technical area between 198 and that psychological $200 area. So do keep that in mind. Next up is Bitcoin. We do like to take a look at Bitcoin. I've been telling you guys for many, many moons now. When I say many moons, I'm talking about for the past 3 days. Bitcoin reached up and broke through this area, this $7,200 area. That was a very good milestone for Bitcoin, and then it pulled right on back. Now look at this 10-day moving average, guys. It is holding this technical 10-day moving average, and now it's getting really tight on there. It's also above its downtrend, which was another great key area. I truly do believe that Bitcoin is one that you're gonna wanna really keep an eye on. And if you don't play Bitcoin, there are a few stocks that you can look at that follow Bitcoin, like HOOD or MARA or RIOT or IREN. And if I'm throwing these out too fast for you, just join the Discord, ask the right questions. We're happy to throw them at your way. And Dan, Bob Dan, if you could go in the water cooler, make sure everybody is aware where we are at today. I just want to make sure everybody has a chance to listen in on this. Now, guys, next up, NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ has been obviously a huge benchmark for people, but we do need to understand that the NASDAQ is constantly rotating. They're constantly rotating tickers, okay? They're constantly rotating tickers. I like to use the S&P 500, but a lot of people like to use this NASDAQ 100 index. It reached an all-time new high as well, but I do consider this a little extended, okay? So we might be getting a pullback soon, but don't quote me on that. We are looming above. The last time I was expecting a pullback is after this huge gap up, and we raced to the north side and stayed above this 10-day moving average for quite some time. Once we got this pullback and we bounced off the S&P's $500 area of support, we took our shares. We made a ton of money on the way up, but now we are back being extended. So let's make sure we keep a close eye on the extension here. Next up is this Dow Jones Industrial. Morwell says, series of higher lows on Bitcoin. Yes, I do agree with you. John Swan's in the building. John Swan, I was just thinking about you the other day, brother. I'm glad to see that you made it in here. Dow Jones Industrial now is actually just lingering around those moving averages. You can see the 10-day is starting to converge, and it got below that 21 and that 30-day moving average. We want to see this thing pop up and hold above the 50-day moving average. Your Dow Jones is your grandfather's ETF, okay? What is it? It's the Coca-Colas, it's the Amazons, it's the Costcos, it's the big boats, the slow movers, all right? Now, this is your ETF semiconductor, okay? It reached an all-time new high on Thursday. This was a beautiful move, and obviously it had a bit of a pullback with NVIDIA being its biggest area. NVIDIA had a nice pullback, and we'll go through that very, very soon. And NVIDIA is going to be the highest weighted semiconductor in the SMH. So you're going to see this pullback, but it is also a little extended. Now, with the 1-to-10 split that we're going to see happen, you're going to see a lot of volatility coming in for NVIDIA. I expect a lot of volatility for the SMH. Now, we always go through the RSP. If you're new with this channel, I'll explain it to you really quick. The RSP is the equally weighted S&P 500. So it's not all one tech, it's not all healthcare, it's not all consumer staples. It makes them equally weighted. And if you guys know, if you look at the market watch, look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA takes up a huge, huge area of the S&P 500, okay? This is everything in the S&P 500 that you see right here, so you can get a better understanding. So if NVIDIA goes up, it's gonna pull the S&P 500 up, okay? It's like a huge weight. When NVIDIA starts to head down like it did the past few days, it's gonna be a huge weight on the S&P 500. So why do we look at the RSP? Because it's equally weighting them. It's not giving all the weight to technology that NVDA holds that weight. Or on the same hand, it's not letting NVIDIA be the balloon and drag it up higher. It's asking the question of what in the overall market, if everything was equally weighted, how is the overall market doing? So we look at this RSP and we can see we're just lingering above a declining 50-day moving average. Okay, so this is a huge sign to me, right? We're following this trend line and it's working well. It's gradually heading higher, which I do like, on lower volume, which is nice. But I don't want to see it continue to stay below the 50-day moving average. I also don't like seeing a 50-day moving average curling to the south side, okay? So if we can hold this trend line, I'm still going to have that hope. And I say hope respectfully, but I do hope that all the 401ks, the Roth IRAs, and all your investment strategies are going to continue to grow, okay? So we want to make sure that this RSP, this equally weighted 500, holds above this area. Next up, this is the VIX Volatility Index. I call this the fear index because when we start to fear things, this starts to go higher. This was the issues that we had in the Middle East, and you can see when we have fear, we also see retracements in the S&P 500. So when we start to get the VIX volatility to head higher, that means there is fear in the market and people start to sell shares. You can see the fear is heading lower. That is a very good sign that we are seeing less fear in the overall market. That means that we are still risk on. Here's another issue that I found. The dollar. The dollar had a big bump up. Now, I don't know what moves the dollar other than inflation, and there's a couple of other things. I do know that it does the opposite. Okay, when the dollar goes higher, the S&P 500 goes lower. Now, with Canada actually cutting rates, I think this had a little bit to do with our dollar. Okay, Canada cuts rates, their dollar doesn't go any higher, or their dollar doesn't go any lower. I can see the dollar having some issues here. It raised up, now it just broke this downtrend, but I still think with another couple of days, we can see this start to head back lower. So I think that is why there's a lot of fear in the market right now, even though we are above a rising 10 and 21-day moving average. So this is just another one of those things that I was seeing in the market, aside from the RSP and the IWM, that may be issues. There's three issues. The IWM being below a 50-day moving average, the RSP just squatting right down on that downtrend and the 50-day moving average pulling down, and this dollar hitting a big volume blurb, okay? So just keep that in mind, guys. Now, what we can go through now is the economic calendar. I think we need to go through the economic calendar. If you're not aware of the economic calendar, well, then you're not aware of the volatility that's going to come in this market. You need to take a little peek at this, guys. Tuesday, we have the 10-year note auction. I haven't found that to be extremely volatile when it comes to the S&P 500. But when we talk about core CPI and the just regular CPI, the year over the year and the month over month, those are all coming out, okay? Core CPI is going to exclude energy. It's going to exclude your gas. It's going to exclude your food. All right, CPI and year over year and the month over month, these are all very volatile, and they all come out at 8:30 in the morning on Wednesday. Okay, so on top of Wednesday, it coming out at 8:30, you need to understand we also have at 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 12, no, 2 o'clock, sorry. At 2 p.m., we also have the FOMC statements, the Fed interest rate decision. This is what's most important here, guys. Now, why is it so important? Well, we know that if the Fed decides to cut rates, the whole world is looking at old Papa Powell and when he is going to cut those Fed interest rates decisions, okay? If he decides to cut rates on this day, Wednesday, at 2 o'clock, then we are going to see an extreme amount of volatility pushing the market to the north side. So do keep that in mind. If at 2 o'clock, Papa Powell comes out and has a surprise rate cut, the market will go higher. If we have a rate raise, if we increase rates, you're going to see the markets tank. If we get a 5.5 as we are expected, as we have had, and what he has said he is going to do, we are still going to see volatility and where it's going to head will be very interesting. We're not going to try and play this data. We're going to try to react to this data, okay? So make sure you have this marked on your calendar on Wednesday. I will be streaming all day long. I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to stream all day for this meeting, okay? It's always huge. It's always a great day, and we make sure that we keep you informed first here. And that brings up a very, very important thing, but let's get through this. Thursday, initial jobless claims. This always moves the market. It always moves the market, especially if after the Fed interest rate decision and we have the press conference 30 minutes after the Fed rate decision, if he says things like we need more data, the data will depend on what we're going to do in September. If he sticks to the notion, the initial jobless claims comes out the very next day at 8:30 in the morning. This will also move markets, especially if it comes out higher or lower than the forecast. Initial jobless claims, it has been shown that if we see a higher initial jobless claims than the forecasted 227, or if it's higher than the previous even, that is going to show that inflation will head down, which gives us more initiative for Papa Powell to cut interest rates. Okay, so keep that in mind. A higher initial jobless claims, meaning more people are filing for unemployment, is usually a good sign that we are having economic contraction, and those Fed interest rates can then be cut sooner. Okay, so bad news is good news right now for the S&P 500. Do keep that in mind. And now that we have gotten you through the overall economic calendar, and you know that Wednesday and Thursday are going to be absolutely outlandish, and you need to mark your calendars and you need to tune in, I would like to take a quick second to reflect. Look at this, guys. Make sure you click this live button right here. Take a look at my screen. Make sure you are live. We want to make sure you are up to date and you are live right now. I see we have 23 people watching. Thank you guys so much for being here. While you are here, if you could do me a favor, this is called self-preservation. I want to grow the channel, I want to grow the community, and I would love for you to smash that like button. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, and I'm going to refresh. We'll see what we're up to. And not to mention, guys, we have a cool little poll here. I love doing this. We already have 18 votes on here and 19 likes, guys. We're going to hit a new record tonight. We are going to hit a new record tonight. We also got a new subscriber. Thank you for whoever that was. I wish I knew who it was. I'd give you a big old shout out. I'll spam the love button for you right here. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here. We do have the votes on the poll. So far, we have asked you guys, will the S&P 500 continue its power trend to the north side? 78% of you said yes, the S&P 500 will keep going up. 6% disagree and said no, we have hard times ahead of us. And 17% of you said beans are a magical fruit. And I would have to definitely agree with the beans being a magical fruit, because every time I don't know the rest of the saying, but right back into it, guys. Next up, let's go through what I'm currently holding. Now, I only hold 3 positions right now, 3 positions. And if you have any questions about my positions, you're more than welcome to comment in the comment section and ask me whatever you want to know about these. I will try and go through these very quick. It's only 3. Abercrombie and Fitch, ANF. I tried to get a hold of this, and I did back here, and we played. We made a little bit of money off this, okay? We could have made a lot more if I would have stuck to my rules, but hey, we're all learning, okay? You're a loser unless you're learning, baby. ANF, though, we had another humongous earnings. We almost doubled this baby. Rip, tater chip to the north side, and then what did it make? A trend line. This is what we teach in our Discord. If you look at the resource section or in my YouTube, you will find that there is a swing trading school just for you. Watch the swing trading school. You'll see there is a trend break strategy in there. This is exactly what I'm looking for, okay? We follow this 10-day moving average. If you look back here, it has followed its 10-day moving average, okay? It's followed its 10-day moving average. Look, it breaks down and it breaks this trend line right here as it's following its 10-day moving average, creating a new lower high. I enter this stock. I exit once we have made more than 1 R here. This is close to 3 R. I exit a quarter of my trade. And now, right now, I'm still holding 75 shares, and we're still up another $250 on this stock, okay? My stop is right here at break even, and I can even do it for you on this live trader. I just scroll down until I see this line sitting over 171.86 right here, okay? I'll make sure that this says 75. I will click this so that way my sell stop is at that 175. And then I like to go in here and we can replace this order for a good till close. That means I have to end this order in order for it to cancel, or if not, it will cancel at the end of the day. So I'm still holding 75 shares of Abercrombie & Fitch. I will consider this a little extended. Okay, so don't try and jump in this all willy-nilly now, guys. This is an extended stock. It's pretty high from its 10-day moving average, okay? I wouldn't suggest getting in it now. The time to buy was the break of this downtrend, and I got into this trade. And we're gonna hold this trade until it breaks either my breakout area where I purchased it, the break-even area, so I cannot lose money on this stock, or the 10-day moving average, whichever comes first. And if we would have stuck to our rules down here, the last breakout that I took, the 10-day moving average was right, well, it never touched. I should still be in this, except for I would have exited at least 90% of my position until right before earnings. So I would have exited out of here, which would be a 20% move on your money. That's humongous, guys. If you're not happy with a 20% move, you are crazy, okay? A 20% move is absolutely beautiful. You will even read it in this How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill that I recommend everybody reading. This is a beautiful book, and I recommend everybody that joins our Discord to make sure you allow yourself time to educate yourself with that book. It's a beautiful book, okay? It's a beautiful swing trading book. So we are in ANF, and I'm waiting for this thing to either break me out for break even or break of the 10-day moving average. Now, this was a little different. I did take this on the hourly, so we should look at this on the hourly. We're still up about $220 on this trade, but if we look at the hourly, you can see, and I told you guys last Sunday about this stock. This was an hourly downtrend that broke out. I bought it premature because there was a trend line within a trend line, but we don't want to get into that, no confusing. You could have bought this on the break, right? We exited over 600 shares of this stock, still holding 300 left till it hits break even or the 10-day moving average, whichever comes first. Okay, we are up another $220 on this stock. I cannot lose money on this stock. I've already made my money on this stock. This last piece is for just extra credit, okay? So here it is, and you can see the 10-day moving average is getting ready to start heading above this break-even area. So even on this last third that I'm holding could end up making me even more money. And Dan just added the nightly at 9 p.m. Eastern Discord for you. Easily clickable if you guys want. You can just look at the comments there, click on that, join Discord. Everything's free, guys. Everything's free. Why do we do this for free? Because I found it all for free. I learned for free, and it's so hard to get past all the scammy bull-ish that is out there. I don't want you guys getting scammed, which, speaking of which, if you are part of our Discord, please keep in mind, we know that we've made it now, baby, because we got scammers trying to act like me, trying to take my ugly face and trying to get you to talk to them, okay? I will never send you a friend request. I will never reach out to you in a DM. Everything I do is for absolute free, and I do it on live, and I do it here with you in the live, or I do it in our general chat, okay? So don't fall for people's scams. Everything I give you is absolutely free because I found it free, and you don't need to spend any money. I will never ask for any of your money, okay? I always tell you the free way to do things. And next up, so ASTS, what am I expecting? Well, I always expect to get stopped out, okay? But what I love to see, I would love to see this climb, let the 10-day moving average catch up, get really tight on the 10-day moving average, let people accumulate shares on this, and then rip tater chip to the north side, just like we've seen it do right here. A big push up, a pullback. It starts to get a little tighter here. It didn't get nearly as tight as I would like to see it before breaking out, but hey, I'm not going to argue, and I will not argue with price action. Sure enough, this thing rip tater chip to the north side, and we found another trend line on the hourly. LOL Moga, I just seen, join the Discord. Welcome to the Discord. Welcome to the community. You are now family. We meet up every night at 9 p.m. except for Fridays and Saturdays, so thank you so much for joining. So next up is NVDL. This is NVIDIA. This is just a cheaper way to get NVIDIA, even cheaper after the split. You can see here, this thing had earnings. It just chirped up on earnings. It was absolutely beautiful. We decided to play an opening range high, or also known as an opening range break. This opening range break has shown that I could make a ton of money on it. You can see that we exited here after 2R. We exited here. I believe this was like 5R, 6, and 7R. I mean, we made a ton of money on this. If we use this in percentage-wise, we made about 2.5%. Then we made 14.77. We made 20.31. Then we made 22%. And guess what? I'm still holding 1/8 left of this position. And that 1/8 that I'm holding left is still worth over $450, guys. $450. Moga, it's good to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining up. Love to see you in here, brother. Shooting some love your way, baby. So, guys, NVDL, it was an easy buy for me. We held after earnings. I never buy before earnings, only after earnings. And after earnings, I play an opening range breakout, okay? I explained that in the episodic pivots video that you can find in the Swing Trading School in my videos on my YouTube or in the resource section on Discord, okay? So guys, keep this in mind. Everything is free. We teach you how to do it, and you just have to learn that risk management and take it nice and slow, okay? And then you can make big money like this. It's easy. This is only 1/8 of this position, guys. 1/8, and we're still up $452 on this. And where am I stopping out? You guessed it. If this is my break even and this is the 10-day moving average, when this closes below the 10-day moving average, that's when I'll get out. That's when this will tell me, hey, the momentum on this trade is through, okay? I am a momentum trader and I absolutely love NVIDIA. I have loved NVIDIA since the $500 break, guys. Let me just show you this $500 break. This is the base breakout trade that I have talked about over and over again. Right here, I'll mark this out. So we have had the split. It's not the $500 area. Now it's called the $50 area, okay, for the 10-to-1 split. But I will always remember this as the $500 base breakout area on NVIDIA, okay? I'm going to mark this in green so you guys understand what the hell I'm talking about. I preached about this. I talked to all my friends and family about this. This is the breakout trade of the century, okay? NVDA, baby. Back when it was $500 a share, if you guys can remember that far back, it was only, what, last week, okay? This was $500 a share right here, and on this base breakout, we took this trade, okay? Now, if I would have stuck to my rules, I could have made a lot more money. I think I sold out way earlier than what I should have, but guys, look at this beautiful, beautiful base breakout. Right after it broke that 500, look at the volume that came in, much higher than average, even much more higher than average, and as it teetered off, we climbed and climbed and climbed. This was a beautiful trade, and now NVDA, after earnings, gapped up, opening range break, took right on up, and this has plenty of room to pull back and try and hold this rising 10-day moving average. So, what am I expecting out of NVIDIA? I'll tell you the one thing that I expect out of NVIDIA, and that is volatility. I think there's going to be violent volatility and people are going to be getting in and out and in and out. But I do think NVIDIA is our future. So no matter which way it goes, I'm going to play the price action and we'll see what comes. Now, I am ready to give you all what you've been waiting for. But first, Predator says, David, any chance you can show more of the left side of the chart as we can't see the ticker if we don't hear you call it out? You absolutely can, brother. You absolutely can. There you go. I think you can see it now, Predator. And hey, thank you. I do appreciate that, man. We want to make sure everybody understands where we're at, what we're doing at all times. So if you guys have any questions or any ideas for this chat, you just need to say it. Just speak up, speak out. We are here for you. This whole show is for you, so thank you so much for joining. Predator, I think that should help you out for sure. So guys, let me take a quick sip of coffee because I am parched, and we are going to go through the meat and potatoes of this whole meeting, and that is the watch list. We have plenty on the watch list for you. I want to go through it. I have all fast movers except for maybe I threw in about 6 or 7 slower ones for you guys. But remember, these are all relatively strong stocks in the market, okay? And if you guys don't know how to find the relative strength, we will teach you that. We have it all right here for you, baby. It's all in this Discord, okay? It's all in that Trader View. And if you guys need Trader View, I do have a link in the description. I think the whole first week is free. You don't even have to pay for it. But if you do want to pay for it and get the Essentials plan, there's a week free before you even start paying for it if you use my link. If you don't want to pay for it, you don't even have to. It's still absolutely free. Like I said, everything is free. But if you like this platform that we use, it shows you the RS rating right here. This is Bitcoin. This is the RS rating at 98. Of course, Bitcoin is killing it. And I do really think Bitcoin has some plenty rooms to run. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. All right, let me take a sip, guys. I am parched. Let me throw some love your way. That is good. That is good. All right, here we go. Let me refresh this page. Let's see what we're doing. We got 21 votes. How many votes we got? Let's see. Yeah, 21 votes. We got 76. Okay, I like that. 76 on yes, S&P. 10 on no. We have some room to come down. And 14 are beans or a magical fruit. All right, guys, let's jump right into this watch list. So first and foremost, I have to bring up Tesla. Now, if you guys know me and you know me well, you know I don't like talking about stocks that are below a 200-day moving average. But I feel like there is a special characteristic to Tesla, and there is a sweet spot in my heart for old Uncle Tesla, okay? Uncle Tesla is that drunk at the barbecue that won't shut up. He won't leave you alone, and everybody's staring at him because you know he's either going to fall down or he's going to make a slam dunk, right? This is where we're at right here. Uncle Tesla is either going to fall down drunk and break this area of 172, or he is going to go leaps and bounds and he's going to do something crazy and he's going to make everybody keep their eyes on him. This is a pennant that is forming. Now, depending on what time frame you look at this, you can call this a bearish pennant or a bullish pennant. But either way, Tesla is forming that pennant. If we get above, Stephanie Swan, good to see you, good to see you. If we get above this area of 180, I do believe old Uncle Tesla can sober up and start heading to the north side. I really think it can. But if we cannot break through, or if we break through and have a fake breakout, and we start to head lower, and we break this 50-day moving average, I think Uncle Tesla can go much lower. Okay. Now I always say nothing good happens below a 200-day moving average. So we need to make sure we have conviction. I would love to see a volume blurb into this north side. Let's say higher than average volume for the day, ripping up higher. What I will say good is that after this huge blurb of volume and this pullback, every push was on higher volume and every pullback was on much lower volume. If we bring up the volume here at the bottom, if it'll let me, you can see we have declining volume. This is my average volume right here. See how it's declining on all the sell-offs? It's declining. That's a really good sign for this stock. Now, these aren't buy or sell recommendations. I'm just a talking head, but I will say this. Me, personally, when this thing starts to break out, if I see volume, I like that 180 area. I really like that 180 area. I think he'll fall in the morning. Well, I hope, you know, I hope 172 or 173 is there to catch him if he does fall. But I might have to agree with you, Stephanie. With everything that's going on, I do expect another pullback. I think this thing's going to keep trading sideways for a little longer. But Uncle Tesla has surprised a lot of people. I actually have a friend who lost over $20,000 trying to play this earnings. Okay, he shorted it. This is why we don't play earnings, guys. Why we don't play earnings. We play trend and base breakouts and episodic pivots if it lines up with the correlation, okay? Let's start from the top down. Now we have FSLR. This thing is not ready yet. After this big move, it's trading sideways and it's playing price find right here. It doesn't know what price it wants to hold. It's trying to just figure out what it wants to do up here. I'm starting to see a base start to form. We tried to play the trend break. We lost a little money on that, but I am not giving up on FSLR. If clean energy is the new hot sector, we will be first to know. You'll be first to be alerted. I have an alarm set here. I have an alert set here at 280. If it starts to teeter in this area, it starts to get tighter, we see positive price action, just like we have been seeing on a lot of other stocks, then we can get another break of this 280. I will take another trade on it. I already talked to you about ANF. This thing is getting very, very tight. There are a lot of swing traders that have their eyes on it. If you guys remember last Sunday, we talked about NVAX, guys. Right here was my #1 trade. I brought up NVAX last Sunday, just like the meeting you're paying attention to right now. We find the NVAXs and we give them to you at a 17% average daily range. This was a beautiful hourly break. I was right about here when I was at the doctor's office, okay? But thank gosh, I remember seeing it go up, my alert go off, and I knew I couldn't trade it. I just texted the Discord and I said, you guys better be making money on NVAX. You guys better be making money on NVAX, because if I can't make money on NVAX, you better have taken that NVAX. And sure enough, we had plenty of traders in that Discord, baby, that made money, made me proud. So I'm proud of you guys. B. Stewie, Danny, shout out to you guys. I'm not even sure how many other people got a hold of that, but NVAX was a true banger as long as you were taking profits to the north side. And sure enough, you can see if you would have taken this right at the breakout area, which shout out to you, B. Stewie, he got a really nice take on this, risking 3.6% on a 17% average daily range. He took out right here at 1R, and you can see this thing moved up clearly to the highs, 54%. You guys better have been taking out some money, and then moved your stop after taking out at 2R or 1R, bringing your stop up to break even, so you could not lose money on this. And now you're either playing the break of a 10-day moving average or break even, but now because the 10-day is above the break even area, this is going to be your stop loss. That's just how I play, okay? Not how you play. That's how I play. That's how we teach it. Okay? Protect your money. Use risk management. Learn how to take these trades before you're taking them. Let's see. Mo Wells has been burnt one too many times with Tesla. Yeah, you know what? I have too, trying to play Tesla on the north side. But here's the thing, man. It's going to burn you out. So that way when it makes the move, you can be angry at it after it does. So don't be burnt out. You know, take smaller share size. And then when you're in it, let it run. You know, let your winners run. Make sure that you give wider stops on Tesla, because you can see every time it wants to break out, you know, or buy towards the bottoms at that 171. But regardless, make sure you're sticking to your process, right? I've allowed myself to take 2 failed trades on Tesla, but I was not taking a full banger on Tesla, okay? I was taking my time with Tesla. I'd put a little bit in, you know, take a little bit out as it moved up, and then move my stop up to break even, and it stops me out. You know, just making little bits of money, not nearly as much as I would like to, but hey, you know, that's Tesla for you right now. ONON. So this is a shoe holding. This moves 4.3%. You can see we have pushed up higher. We're finding a new price area, price discovery mode right now, holding a 10-day moving average, of course, as you guys know. A breakout area if it wants to keep bouncing off this $43 area, if it breaks up to the north side on volume and we're not too extended from this 10-day moving average. What I'd like to see is it bounce off 3 or 4 more times, give this another 4 or 5, maybe even another week, and then break out higher. So this is nice to see, because we are also getting volume contraction down here. You can see we push up higher on volume, and we have volume contraction on the sell-off. So it's nice to see that. Next up is SHIP, S-H-I-P. You can see, and I saved a few so I could draw a trend line for you. Okay, you can see this was the original trend line. You could have played this, you know, this would have been a failed trend. You can see it's starting to base out here. Back here, there was a beautiful base breakout, and it looks like it's trying to form another one of those. But I have to say, this makes it look a little choppy, so we need to be careful with this. I would like to give this some more time to see if SHIP has the gusto to continue higher. It's still holding that 10-day moving average. Maybe we need to let the 21-day moving average catch up, but we need to keep an eye on this, because if it wants to continue to base out, maybe it breaks up higher just like it did here, just like it did here, and then we can see if another base breakout forms. So keep SHIP on your watch list. Now I'm going to run through a lot of these guys. ASPN, trend breakout, holding the 10-day moving average, still working well. We have MNY. Now this is a 6.8% penny stock, but I love to see it because of this beautiful trend. This is a beautiful pennant forming. Put it on your watch list. We have PWFL. PWFL actually broke on down, so you know what I'm going to do? Deleted. Goodbye. Enough giving you my attention. ELF, this is a former leader. It is a little bit slower than the other ones, 4.9%, but still can do big things. I just want to keep an eye on it because it is still a leader. We have RSI. Now, why am I keeping RSI on here? It is a slower mover at 3.4%, but it's hard for me to get away from how beautiful this base is and how well it's holding that 10-day moving average. So I like RSI, and I think you should keep it on your watch list for a breakout around that $9 area. I have my alert set now at 909, and I'm going to be watching for the volume come in there. IPW, this was a take on this trend breakout, but it just kind of failed and kind of came back down. So I'm going to keep it on my watch list for a little while longer to see how it acts around this 10-day moving average. If it can hold and get maybe tight on there, nice and tight, I'd like to see that take off. All right, so ASTS, we just went over ASTS. I'm still holding 300 shares of that. We have ASAU, so this is a gold. I'm just keeping an eye on this in case gold wants to shape up, because if we look at gold, the gold shares ETF, you can see it's really broke down here. This is a really bad sign for gold. And guys, if you guys have been listening to me at all, even on this push-up, I've been very bearish on gold. Okay, I think gold has had its run. We called out this base breakout at 194, and there was plenty of areas to play it, but I did not make any money on gold. I called out plenty of great trades, but I was not in the right place at the right time to play gold, and I did not have the right ticker. So when I bring up USAU, this is more for a short. Unless gold starts to turn around, then we might be able to play this to the north side because it is a much faster mover. NVCR, this is breaking down now. I'm taking that off my watch list. We have ARM. ARM, B. Stewie actually. B. Stewie played ARM like a fiddle, baby. I like to see ARM up here. As you guys know, NVIDIA pulled back the past couple of days, and ARM held true, so it's showing a lot of strength in this area. Now, ARM moves 5%, so it is a much faster mover. Where was the trade? Right here on this daily downtrend. It broke up to the north side after bouncing off of a 10-day moving average. This was a beautiful trade right here, guys. If you could have got it anywhere in this 124, 125 area, I would have said, bellissimo. Beautiful trade on that daily downtrend. These are the stocks, these are the trades we're looking for. And with semiconductors being a hot sector, this would have been a no-brainer. And B. Stewie decided to take that no-brainer trade. We have RSKD. This is only moving 4%. It's just meeting my criteria to play. RSKD, I did get into it here, and it ripped tater chip to the north side. I was up over $500, but poor me. I didn't take any money out that next morning, and it not only sold all the way off to my break even, so I didn't lose any money on this trade, but I also did not take any money out. So I broke even on this trade, and why do we have stop losses? Well, because it headed much lower, okay? So I didn't want to be down $300 on this trade, but it is holding that 10-day moving average, so I reset my alert at that 621 area. I'm willing to take this again as long as it breaks out higher. So RSKD is on my watch list. It sure as hell should be on yours. SG now. SG, if you guys have not known about the restaurant ETF, first of all, you haven't been listening to me and my shorts and everything I've been telling you about the restaurant sector, but you have been sleeping under a rock. Sweet Green, baby. Sweet Green has pulled higher, and I always talk about these pullbacks, guys. I always talk about these pullbacks. So when you miss out on these pullbacks, you should not have fear of missing out. When it breaks out of a key area like it did here, it pulls right back and it's retesting this area. Is this an area I want to get in? Well, sure, I sure do, but I want to make sure that this is going to hold first, and as it creates new lower highs, which it is, then we can find the volume and then possibly take a trade. So I'll be watching this one very, very closely tomorrow. Now let's go through the restaurant sector, because we also have a few that we want to see hold. Like this is Texas Roadhouse, guys. TXR. DXRH. Now, I'm only watching this. I'm not willing to play it because it's a much slower mover at 1.8%. What up? Covey's in the building. Good to see you. DAKT. We're going to definitely be going over all of your sweet treats that you brought up, but I got to run through these. So keep in mind, DXRH is looking really, really good, but it's a slower mover. So I'm just keeping an eye on it for the sector. Now look at Kava. Look at Kava, guys. If you're not aware, I am a big Kava fan. Not that I've ate there. When I was in New York visiting that Wall Street, I definitely wanted to eat there. I didn't. I wasn't that hungry, but next time I go to New York, I'll definitely be eating some Kava to try it. But I did try a couple of burger joints down there. That was absolutely awesome, eating a smash burger. I couldn't believe it, man. It was so damn good. I don't remember the name of the place, but they're all over down there in New York. And it's just a smash burger with onions. If you guys know the name of that place in New York, let me know. Let me know. Mo Wealth, is there a possible play on ARM at 148 on a base? We can take a look at it really quick. 148. No, I don't. That's not how I see my bases. I see what you're saying. Let's say, let's put it this way. Yes, if it forms up. So if it breaks out up here, extended from the 10-day, no, that's not a base breakout. But let's say it gets up to 150, pulls back down, bounces around 145, the 10 and 21-day moving averages catch up, and then it decides to break out, yes. But I would want to see another base start to form, okay? And I think Covey would agree with me on that. All right, so let's keep on keeping on. We have CMG. This is a slower mover, but again, I'm just keeping an eye on it for the overall sector. Same thing with EAT. And then we have SMTC. That is now off my watch list. Look at that beautiful breakdown there. WIX has been a leader. There's nothing to play here right now. We need to see a new area form. Let's see if it creates a base or a trend, but it's definitely one to keep on the watch list. It is a leader in this market. All right. This one I could take off my watch list now. So IREN is going to be your Bitcoin miner. If BTC decides to break out of that 7,200 area and then have continuation to the north side, IREN not only has the volume to back it up, but it's also relatively strong compared to Bitcoin. As Bitcoin pulled back, IREN held most of its gains. Those Bitcoin miners, and this is also a clean energy Bitcoin miner. I know there was a lot of us that made some money on some of this. I know John Swan was playing this as well, at least keeping a close eye on it. I know that Danny made, wow, I think Danny made well over $4,000 on this. Shout out to you, brother, if you're listening at a later time. I know you're sleeping now, baby. That's what they do, them Swedes. We also were watching Wolf. I don't think this is too much of a play now because after seeing how IREN played, Wolf was very much a lagger, okay? So if Bitcoin starts to head down, Wolf heads down, IREN holds up strong. So I'm taking that off my watch list. Now, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I will keep an eye on GME because it never broke this downtrend and it's still holding a 10-day moving average. So you can say what you want about GME, it's still in play for me. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but let me take a sip after that one. And we're about halfway through our watch list. While we are here, if you guys will do me a huge favor, take a little peeky gander at my screen. We had at one point, we had like 35 of you guys watching. That was absolutely beautiful. I'm just gonna refresh my page. Smash this like button for me, guys. While you guys are here, smash this like button for me. I think we're up to 26. I think that is a new record. So thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate you guys very, very much. We also have a poll here. We already got 23 votes on the poll. Will the S&P continue its power trend? Yes, the S&P will keep going. 74% of you said yes, it will keep going. Love right back at you, boys. And no, we have hard times ahead at 13%. And then the other 13% said beans are a magical fruit. I don't even know what that means, but I would have to agree. Beans are a magical fruit. Make sure you guys hit the live button. You're staying live. Smash the like. Smash the subscribe button, guys. We have 26 likes in here. We've had another subscriber. Everything is looking absolutely beautiful, and we have a ton to go through, guys. So let me start from the bottom and work my way up now because I have plenty. We're going to run through this because I want to make sure we keep up with the chat, guys. I want to keep up with the chat to make sure you guys are well taken care of. So you have USM, we have TSHA holding that area. We're going to keep a close eye on it. SMMT Therapeutics. Look at this. This is really, really volatile at 30.2%. This is a rip your face off stock if you're not careful, but it's forming this beautiful downtrend. I think it would look better if we took a look at this on the hourly. Look at this trend, guys. This looks absolutely bonkers. If it breaks above this area, let's say, what's this at? $8. If it breaks above this $8 on volume, I'm definitely going to keep a very close eye on that. RVMD, look at this base breakout. I think Covey would like this. Revolution Medicine, and you guys are going to find out the healthcare and therapeutics and biotech sectors are very, very hot right now. They have been very hot since January, and you can see that we pulled back a little bit on those, and now they're very back in very, very good fashion. So we still have rotation in that sector. Okay, so keep that in mind. RVMD for a base breakout looking really good around that $40, $50 area, 40 and 50 cent. We have PACS, 4.9%, holding a nice base breakout area of 30.80. Go ahead and set your alert on that. We have OUST. OUST is forming a nice downtrend here. I do like this downtrend on the daily. Let me show you guys here. So this is holding a 21-day moving average, and it's starting to get a little tighter now. I think a couple more days before it breaks out might show some respect. ORN Group Holdings. This is starting to get really, really tight. And I think, Covey, I think you really like this one here. This break of that $10 area, well, 10.25, 10.30 actually. The 10 is actually pretty close. But this thing moves 6.8%. This can really make or break your account, so make sure you guys understand and use risk management. But this thing is clearly on an uptrend. This is in a very, very nice sector as well. Let's actually see which sector this is, because I wasn't. Industrial services. So industrial services has been doing really well. This is an RS rating of 98%. You can see we have the cup and we have the handle on here, okay? And if you guys want to know how to take care of this, just click the link, the trader view. It's absolutely free. If you want to pay for the essential plan, I think you're first. You get $15 off if you want to. And Covey is actually coming out with a video within the next couple days to set your charts up exactly how we have our charts, so you can see exactly what we're seeing. And that's going to come out very, very soon. I actually got the sneak preview, man. He really killed it. Let's see, ONMD, we get a couple more, and we're going to go through your watch list, gentlemen. ONMD, this is definitely a huge mover at 23%, so keep that in mind. We have a huge downtrend. It looks like it broke this area, so we definitely want to keep this eye on the hourly because we have another area forming right here on a trend. So if it wants to get above that, that's definitely going to catch my eye, and I think you should keep it on your watch list. Now, I have plenty of other ones that we could take a look at, but guys, there are plenty of stocks out there that you'd want to see. We have a base breakout on MU, but it's only 3.3%. We have AVGO. These are a couple of smaller ones, another base area breakout. Communication services, very hot right now. And I could go on all day of all these cool ones, right? All of these sectors, all these stocks that we go through, right? But I gave you the best, the fastest, the highest RS stocks. Now let's see what you have for me. We're gonna start from the top down. From the top down. Let me go ahead and finish this poll though. We're gonna end this poll, and let me just read it to you guys. What do we have on this poll? Will the S&P continue to grow on its power trend? 72% of us agree that it will keep going up, all right? There is 11% of you saying no, it will not, that we have hard times ahead of us. And you know, that's totally understandable too. That's very respectful. But the crazy thing is that 15% of you said that beans are a magical fruit. You know, I've heard of Jack of the Beanstalk. You know, I think we can all agree there, you know, that beans are a magical fruit. Sometimes when I eat them. All right, on to the next, guys. Let's see what we got. Mo Wealth had S. I'm going to be very, guys, when you guys throw something in the chat, I am very, very critiquey, right? I'm looking for one specific thing. I want you guys, if you just throw it up in the stock and you don't give me a reason why, I will critique the hell out of it if I trade differently than you, right? And I do. Now we have SLNO. We can see a beautiful downtrend on this right here. Now, if this thing breaks out and wants to hold above, it's a little extended here. It's not really following any moving averages, so I don't like this. I don't like this at all. What we want to see is a big push up or a big push up, and then it follow a moving average. So if it looked more like this, big push up, following the 10, following a 30, you know, and starting to curl up, and then we could form this, you know, and then we have a breakout. Look at that. And I kind of cherry picked that, sure, you know, but when we go over here, why don't I like this? Well, it's chopping around. It's not holding anything. It's chopping through, bouncing off the 50, bouncing off its trend line, breaking through the 50, chopping through, you know, there's nothing that I can risk off of and no really clean area of support. So I don't like SLNO. ORN, we already went over ORN. VKTX. Now, I don't like VKTX. It's on a downtrend. Look at this. It's broke all of its moving averages. Garbage stock, unless it comes back, starts making new higher lows. It's not making new higher lows. It's making new, I'm sorry, if it starts making new higher lows, yes. If it starts making new higher lows, that will look formidable, okay? New higher lows, like this. Here's a low, here's a new higher low, okay? But these are making new lower lows. This is the most recent low, here's another lower low, and then here's another lower low. This is not in play. VKTX is discovering what price it wants to be at. So shit stock, I don't like it. VITL. VITL, yeah, this thing is definitely ramping up. Nothing to play on it right now. It needs to form a trend or a base breakout. So I do like VITL. Definitely one to keep on your watch list. CAMT, kind of bouncing around up here, moving at 4.1%. It looks good. I like CAMT, but we need to keep in mind that this doesn't show a trend. And this base right here, I would say needs more time. So I see the base here, but I think it needs more time. I think it needs to bounce around a few more times. I can't take something like that just because that's not how I see those bases working out, okay? But it is a good stock. I do like the look of it. TLNE, ooh, so this wasn't on my watch. So this is one I'm gonna wanna add because look at this beautiful trend. Holding its 21-day moving average. If it wants to break out of this trend to the north side, that's definitely one that I want to keep an eye on. TLNE, it's also in energy. Is this a clean energy? Let's take a look. TLNE, utilities. Okay, so this is in utilities. And if you guys aren't aware, XLU is your utilities ETF. It was on a huge uptrend, now having a small pullback, which actually could be a good sign for the overall market because utilities usually go up when we are having some fear because you're always going to need your utilities and energy. Now it's having a pullback. So if utilities can find a nice area and start to do an uptick, I think TLNE could really get moving here. And at 4.2%, this is a very nice looking stock. So nice find on TLNE. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. PRCT, yeah. So this one is kind of just chopping around now. It had a breakout area, so if you're in it already, say the area of 66, I would say, you know, this is looking great. You know, if you took it at 66, as long as it stays above your breakout area, things are looking good. But if it starts to break this 10 and we don't see anything after this breakout, I would have to be hands off and let it price discovery, okay? So that's what you got for me, Mo Wealth. That's what I got for you. So thank you so much for throwing that up in the chat. So let's go. Let's see what else we got here. I don't want to miss anybody's tickers. So SMH, let's see. Can you show a ticker on a chart? Yeah, we got that. Just want to make sure we're keeping up on everybody. DAKT, Covey says, ooh wee. So this moves 3.1%, a little bit slower than I want to read, but I see why you're bringing it up. This is a nice looking trend here. And we're probably going to do a little, on Tuesday, we'll probably do like a little exercise on how to draw these trend lines out. So we'll probably go through the scanner and I'll draw trend lines out for you guys so you guys can see. Because sometimes I don't use the wicks, you know, sometimes I do the wicks. But what I try to do is find something clean that I can play off of that makes it tight enough on that 10-day moving average. And I like this, Covey. It's a very nice look. I like that trend. Are you seeing a base on this? I mean, I could see a base being formed around 1150 as well. You could also call this a base breakout. But for me, this is a trend breakout, and I do like the looks of this. And if it can get broken out above this area and then find blue skies, baby, that would be absolutely nice to see. DAKT looking really, really good. We have Dan Dan bringing up AMRX, and Yosef, you're up next. Kovi's also bringing up MSTR. I see Amazon. I see Nylish brought up ABT. We're going to get to those very, very soon. So AMRX is on my watch list, a slower mover than the 4% that I like to see, but AMRX is getting very, very tight now, guys. So I have this breakout area at 692, so that way when we see that 7 come in and it gets above that 7 with volume, it's going to be a big, big deal. Now, it's starting to get a lot tighter down here, and if we get it even tighter than this, it's riding this 21-day moving average. This is looking very, very nice. So I do like AMRX. It's also in a hot sector, the pharmaceutical, the healthcare, the biotech sector, all very, very good stocks to be keeping an eye on. So I do like AMRX. We also have CURV. Good eye, Dan Bob. Ooh, CURV at 4.8%. Look at this 10-day moving average. This is what I want to see, guys. This is a beautiful hold on that 10-day moving average, and we also already had our shakeout day. I love seeing those shakeout days. It used to make me very weary, but when you get a shakeout day and a huge wick on the daily where it gets just bought right back up, guess who is drawing a trend line on this one? This guy who wants to see it break out roughly around that $6.70 would be nice. My alert's set at 663, so that way when it does, we can keep a closer eye on it. So CURV, very nice eye, Dan Bob. I don't think we've brought up Curve before. Now we got Yosef talking outlandish with the VLN. Let's take a little peeky gander. Yeah, VLN is rip tater chip to the north side. Let's see what VLN is, guys. VLN. So it is in the electronic technology semiconductors. Of course it's ripping with a 94% RS rating as well. So this is very, very cool. It looks like the financials are not, not 100%, but we can see we're above the rising 200-day moving average. We're getting a lot of volume coming in for this. Now, there's nothing I can do with VLN right now except for sit back, relax, and see what's going to happen because we cannot buy this extended. So it looks great. I love the looks of VLN, but it's not something that we really want to keep an eye on. We want to keep an eye on, but we can't really buy because if we buy now, we might get a pullback. Okay, that's what we want to get. But look at this. This would be a nice breakout area at 277. So, I'm not sure where if you're already in this or not, but I really like this breakout area right here on VLN with a average daily range of 4.1%. This is what we're looking for. This almost looks like SHIP. Okay, SHIP had another 4 or 5 days in it, but if we just go back to SHIP, which is our ideal breakout, you can see right here, you get a big push up and then it gets tighter, and it breaks out on volume. Okay, VLN did the same thing. Check this out. So VLN breaks on up, gets tighter, following a 10-day moving average, and breaks on up on higher volume. So that is absolutely beautiful, a beautiful find. And these are the stocks we definitely want to keep looking at. So Yosef, very good eye on that. ESTC, let's take a little peeky gander. ESTC looks pretty choppy here. I don't really care for this right now. It's got a lot of overhead resistance, and I don't like to see this big of a sell-off. So right now it's in just the price discovery area. So I think this needs more time. Don't like ESTC at all. We also have TEVA for Yosef. Oh, that looks nice. Now this is a slower mover for me. Now this is a base breakout area at that $17. It's holding this 21. It was holding the 10. It broke down from it, but that's okay because on these base breakouts, as long as they trade within the range for a little bit, while the other moving averages catch up, this could be very formidable. I would like to see it break out, but it's a slower mover for me. And with all the other base breakouts and trend breakouts, I'm going to pass on TEVA. So yeah, so Yosef says exactly as you explained, base on base, breaking within volume. Yeah, Yosef, I really like the look of that. Great eye. So MSTR is going to be a Bitcoin play, and if you guys look right here, Kobe wanted me to bring this up. At 1732, if it breaks out above this area, it's holding these moving averages. It looks really nice. I think a couple more days with Bitcoin, like if Bitcoin BTC can get really tight underneath that $7,200 area again and start holding this 10-day moving average, I think MSTR, yes, it's very expensive, but this is another way to play Bitcoin with IREN. Okay, so keep MSTR on your watch list. Good eye on that, Covey. Nyla says, ABT, Abbott, can you go through it, please? I can. Now, Abbott, big breakdown here. Just got above the 200-day moving average and all of its other moving averages. I'm going to want to see a base or a trend start to form. So I do not like ABT right now. I do not like it at all. I think it needs a lot more time. It also only moves 1.5%, so it's much, much slower. Now, if you want to play much slower moves, I think you need to wait for a new lower high. So it just reached a new low. It needs to have a pullback here to show if it can make a new lower high and then start to show a trend or a basing breakout as it rides one of the moving averages. So me personally, I'm hands off, but I do like the volume that's coming in much higher than average. So this might help push the stock higher. So that's ABT. What else we got? Amazon, please. No problem. So Amazon is still in this price discovery mode. Okay, why do I have this gray area? Well, this was its all-time highs area, right? And it keeps wanting to come back and retest this area. Now, what I do like about it is it's creating new higher lows here on its price formation, okay? So it is on a uptrend, long-term uptrend, a short-term downtrend, but a mid-term uptrend. So this is looking good. I would like to see it continue. But do keep in mind, Amazon, very, very slow. You're not going to make a ton of money playing Amazon because it just likes to chop around, move up and down. You're only going to make 1.8% on your average daily range, okay? So that is Amazon. What else are we looking at? Let me take a little sip here. Getting parched here. Let me throw some love at you guys. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Dan, good call on Curve. I agree with Covey. Yeah, Curve is a nice stock. It's a nice looking stock. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think we've talked about it, so yeah. Learn from you guys. Yes, sir, Dan, Bob. We appreciate you too. We do appreciate you. Probably one of the best students we got out there, man. You're learning quick. Let's see. Predator. REBN holding the 10 last 20 or days so after crossing over the 200. Let's see. REBN. REBN is holding. I actually do have this on my watch list. It moves 17.5%. I have my area set at 488 for a breakout, but that is not where I want to take it. I think it needs a lot more time following the 10-day moving average. It did have this beautiful trend break, a 4-day trend break following that 10-day moving average where we could have gotten in around 381, $4 area, okay? But $4 have been chasing. I'd say 385. But yeah, I like this Predator. This looks really, really good, but I think now it needs a lot more time to base out here because it's starting to get a little dramatized, okay? So it looks good. I like it, but we need some more time. And it's a coffee stock, so cheers. Okay, we got a couple more, guys. Couple more. Let's see. Holding the 10-day with possible entry at 5. Yeah, I see that. Awesome. Thanks for going. Yeah, baby. No problem, Nylish. I'm happy to be here for you. CrowdStrike, CRWD. So CrowdStrike has had a lot of people talking about this lately. And the very first thing I see is it's just choppy. Okay, I really like CrowdStrike when it was holding this area and it was still choppy, but it was still holding these areas. I thought for sure we'd get a nice breakout to the north side. It pulled back, it moved up higher, it pulled back before earnings. Earnings came out. The earnings actually showed to be that a lot better than people expected. Pop right back up. This just doesn't have a play for me. That's my biggest issue. Because now we're extended, right? But what am I going to base this off of? It's not holding any moving averages. It breaks down below them all. You know, what I want to see, honestly, is a big move first, a big move first, like this. Like this. This is a good example. There's a couple on here. A big move here first, and then show a base, like this base. Or it pulls back and it starts to show a trend. I would have tried to play this trend and been stopped out. but a big move here and then a bounce off the 10-day, then I would start looking again. Here's another base right here, 300, which is a psychological area too. Once it gets above it, it starts to move. But look, it's just chopping around now. Chopping around. I just don't like the price action of this one. It's hard for me to hold something like this comfortably when at any given time, this thing can move down 13% on me. I would have to take a huge, huge area of stop. So if I wanted to get in now, I would have to take the bottom of one of these lows. Now, good news is it is holding new higher lows. So here's a low, new higher low, new higher low. But, it's just, where do you take it, It does move 4.1%, so it is looking nice. Dan Bob just threw the Trading View in there. That is my link. You guys are more than welcome to use it. Trading View is free, but if you buy the Essential plan, it helps me out, and you get $15 off, which is pretty much a whole month for free. I think a whole year is only like $100. And plus, we're gonna give you all the essentials on how to use it. And also, that is how we give you the watch list to go through. 300 stocks that you can go through to find some of the same stocks that you are looking at today. Joseph says, a crowd is entering the S&P 500. Yes, sir. Uber just entered. UBER, you got to understand, just because it's entering doesn't mean it's so good. Now, Uber entered the S&P 500 right in this area, right around the $75 area, or no, maybe it was this area, 70. And it popped up, and now look at Uber. It's right back at that entrance of the S&P 500. So you do got to keep in mind, guys, that just because it's entering the S&P 500 doesn't mean that it's going to not saying that that's what you thought, Joseph, but that is a really good piece of information that it is entering the S&P 500, because it just shows that there is institutional ownership that believes in this, and they're going to go ahead and put it in there. And Uber looks pretty entertaining here. It's just not holding any moving averages. So it's nice to see Uber making this nice little curl, looking like it's going to pop, but at a downtrend holding that. SMCI, absolutely. We can take a look at SMCI. So SMCI has been on this downtrend. If you guys, man, I'll never forget watching this with Covey. We watched this thing just ramp up higher. It was absolutely nutso. Absolutely nutso. And I remember talking to my buddy this day right here saying, this thing is parabolic. You need to exit some of your money. I said, but I can't tell you what to do. I'm just saying, if I held this, I would at least take half of my shares out of this. And he's telling me he's got this long-term game plan and all this crazy stuff. And it just shit the next day, And he said, well, if it comes back down, I'm going to add more. No, he exited down here, after the break. Everybody has a game plan, right? Until they get punched in the face. Everybody knows that saying. But it's so true, right? Until you get punched with the truth, that's why you have to have a program. You have to have a process. That's why we teach process in our Discord, in our YouTube channel. Because if you have a process, you would have been exiting up in this area, right? Or you would have at least held on to this until it closed below the 10-day moving average. So here, you take an opening range break somewhere in this area like Covey and I did, and then you hold on to this, making all this money and exiting some of your position out, right? After 20%, you're making sure you're at least out 3/4, only holding a quarter left. You would have still held on to this, right? Until boom, right here. You'd have made a ton of money. And look at this, a new trend and a break base or a trend breakout above. Look at this daily trend, big daily trend, breakout above. But I didn't like this because it was just so choppy, so I didn't play this one. But SMCI, I don't like it. Below all these moving averages, this just needs a lot more time to recover and recoup. There's a lot stronger stocks out there right now. Like if you're looking for one to trade, look at MU. MU has got relative strength. Okay, what do I mean by relative strength? Look at SMCI on this chart and you'll see the relative strength. Well, actually, I got to take that back a little bit. The relative strength for SMCI is 98%. Okay, but you have to understand SMCI is below all of its moving averages. Well, MU is starting to base out here and just created new all-time highs at 134.13. Okay, so this to me is showing a lot more strength. It's actually following its leader. It's not a lagger, right? So those are my thoughts, not yours. We'll see what happens with it. We have WMT. Let's take a look at WMT. So B Stewie says WMT. So WMT had a nice pullback. It's still following that 10-day moving average. Now Walmart is a much slower mover. If you guys remember on earnings, this thing rip, tater, chip to the north side. It took a lot of the market by surprise. So that's really, really good to see. Really good to see. And it also formed this nice trend break right here. You know, this is why we play trend breaks. This is another reason why we play base breaks, because base breaks work out just as well, okay? So now it's trading at 67.57, currently 65.88. The new all-time high was 67.57. It pulled back. If it follows this 10-day moving average, maybe it forms a new base or a new trend that you can play, but it's a slower mover, so it's not on my watch list, but it can be on yours. Predator says CCLD, holding 10 above 200 maybe, needs a base, just broke out of a $3 area. CCLD, let's take a little peeky gander. So it is extended. That's the very first thing I see. You're saying it's holding a 10 above a 200. Yep. Maybe needs a base, but just broke out of a base at $3. Let's look at that $3 base. Yeah, very good eye. Ooh wee, that is very pretty. So I like that. Now this is a 20% mover too, so I like this. I don't like where it's at right now. Okay, but I like this. This is what we're talking about. This is where we're training our eye, guys. We're training our eye to see these base breakouts, and CCLD has a beautiful base breakout at a psychological area of $3. So great eye on that, Predator. Definitely one we can keep an eye on. Maybe it forms another base and we get that base on top of a base. I did have this in my watch list, actually. We didn't end up getting to it just because it's, you know, I wanted to make sure we got to your guys' stuff here. So if anyone pays for trading for you, just pay for the app. You don't need the extra exchange info that they try to say. Yeah, that's very true. The essentials on the Trader View is all you guys need. You know, that's all you need. I paid for a few extra things on it, like, you know, so I can see like XRP, you know, XRP coin, you know, like to see, you know, where that's trading. I can look at, you know, Dogecoin, you know, I can look at all of these just because cryptocurrency, it does interest me. And plus, you know, having a YouTube channel, if anybody wants to bring up or have any questions like this still holds technical analysis. You know, you can still trade these because it's still technical analysis. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind too. So yeah, you're more than welcome to check that out. It's in the Discord. Also, you can check it out on the link, and Dan also put it in the comment section. So I got one more thing to ask of you guys before anything else happens. Look at my screen. Look at my screen. Make sure you're always live. If you click the live button, it brings you right up to where we need to be. And then, of course, you want to smash this like button. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this now. I'll refresh it one more time after this. But we just reached a new record, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I have to say thank you so much. You know, I really appreciate being here. I love having this live show, but it would not be possible if it wasn't for my moderators, my right-hand men, and not to mention each and every one of you, okay? It would suck having a show without anybody watching, right? Showed up, I had my own house party because nobody came. Beautiful line from a great philosopher called Blink-182, okay? So, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here. Smash that like button. And if you haven't already, what the hell are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, join the Discord, and please come back for more. We're going to be on the Discord tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We're going to do another quick review. It'll be a lot quicker than this one, I can promise you that. But guys, Robert Tanash, the Discord invite is not working, he says. Hopefully you can take care of that, Dan Bob. Robert Danash, can you take care of that for me? Make sure that Discord link is working. Robert Danash, go ahead and click the description. You can see on my screen right now, if you're still with us, you can click this right here, more. You can scroll down and you can click on the link tree. If you click the link tree, it'll bring this up. You can click this Discord, and then bada bing, bada boom, you just click continue to Discord, okay? You do that, and I promise you'll be in, brother. And that way you can be here for everything that is to come. So guys, thank you so much. You reached a new milestone for me, guys. An absolute new milestone. We are on to bigger and better things, guys. And we appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Jimmy Bright, you have a good night, brother. I do appreciate you. I hope everybody has a great night. And you know what? I'm going to hit you with it, guys. I'm going to hit you with it. You know what that is? The outro, baby. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.